Oh, what happened to my charts? That is diabolical. Okay. So gonna pretty much trade New York session primarily today. For however long. Right now we're in the first macro, the 850 macro. In terms, I have not actually marked these out. I would be looking kind of at possible sell plays. Um, Thing is with me, I don't tend to like to trade this macro just because it is technically no volatility kicked into the market with the start of New York, but it is working in our favor. So ideally, what I was looking at here. So at the start of the macro, um, we did have in a sense, kind of a mini shift of structure internally, in my opinion. But overall, we're tracking NQ and ES, trying to see if there is SMT with that. On a grand scheme of things, we have yet to sweep buy side liquidity on the NASDAQ, but on ES, we certainly have for both highs with that. But NASDAQ, we still have a high to go snatch. So technically, until that happens, I'm not really looking for any entry. But if it was something that presented itself, then I guess in a sense we'd be looking at it. But originally, with it being unaligned, pretty much yeah, SMT here at these highs, um, break in sense break structure grab, create liquidity there, and then a change happens. So we got the displacement of that most recent higher low. I'm sorry, lower high. Obviously, I knew there was going to be some accumulation to form back up here. Ideally, if we were going off of uh, kind of a deviation move here, looking for it to tap that 62% mark, which would be having us at a premium and sell off in terms of what we were looking at there. And that's exactly what it's currently doing. Didn't quite tap into the 62 like I expected. Would have taken a short probably at the 50, ideally. So we would have targeted roughly, let's see here, the targeted what deviation exact. Say we got in at the 50, right? We're risking about 28 points on the NASDAQ for a should be a 1 to 3 roughly here. 1 to 3 for yeah, this trade here. So it would have been a 85, about an 84, 85 handle move. Would have been in profit necessarily, but again, I just don't tend to trade the 850 macro there. But this would have been the ideal setup. So overall, we're gonna continue just to wait through this into New York because anything can technically happen. We could, reverse like yesterday, push up, take these highs, and then worry about the sell off. But we did have, I believe it was CPI this morning at 8:30, which made a data low instance here, created a new high as expected, just because we didn't take buy same situation of how I just explained it there. We did not take buy side liquidity at all in NASDAQ yesterday, but we did on ES, and I believe we took the shorts there, caught some partial, take profits, not a full TP, all the way down, I believe, to TP2, and retraced all the way back to break even, which the students did get notified of that trade from pretty much start to finish there in the Discord. So, and since we're just waiting out on this heavy move, so I will just chill out here and just wait for market to do something. Gold itself has been kind of a tricky play. I believe just to look over it just for the thrill. Bounce retest. I think gold will be just bullish per usual. Yeah. And again, these are futures, so we are looking at different, price fluctuation, or price action. I'm sorry, we're seeing different price action values compared to say like just the standard gold or standard NAS and S&P 500 and like the US 30 things of that nature. But we are looking at this here as a whole, but they're going to practically mirror each other. Futures, me personally, I trade funded accounts. So I'm working with a $50,000 account through Apex Funded right now. So that is what I'm looking to trade with. So yeah, let's see here. And that's a nice retest. It actually might sell. And this is just ES. Yeah, that was a good trade. It would have been a solid trade for that macro necessarily. So solid it would have been. Let's see if I can even circle back to it. Oh, this would have easily been a solid trade. So right now we would have been up about 42 handles, roughly 45, and it's just gonna keep pushing. But my bias overall is bearish. Again with that overall market move, but I'm gonna just leave that mark here since I did eye it the whole way and just didn't enter the contract. Pretty simple move though. That's literally just what we look for every day. At least when I approach the markets, some form of buy side or sell side liquidity sweep, whether it's London highs or London lows, or just general buy side or sell side liquidity there. Break and retest, get the entry as sharp as possible, and just let it play out. With a trailing stop. I do like the trail just again with it being a funded, you don't want to, waste capital as well. So with those funded rules and funded stipulations, I would say a trailing stop is ideal when it comes to that. But yeah, we'll just let this play out. So even deviations, I probably would have broke down the TPs. So it would have been like 1 to 1. We'd have hit TP1, 1 to 2, somewhere down here, which looks to be approaching. And TP3 would have been at 400. Not even like that. All this money you would think I'd invest into a TradingView Pro, but I'm stingy. I'm not gonna lie. T2, TP3. That's nasty. As long as you, practically if you monitor ES or the S&P, you can monitor NAS all at once. But like I said, I'm not too set on that first sell just because within that macro, if we're going off just basic, say, terminology and not necessarily mechanicals, um, obviously we're in the uptrend. We had a bullish, heavy move. Order flows carried in. Obviously stopped out some sellers is what we're looking at here, and I think we're personally just going to continue higher until NAS sweeps. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Obviously, it looks like it's breaking this trend here, but who knows? Um, but yeah, just going off what price gives us personally. But no, that was actually gold, so we'll take that back. Same thought. I mean, at the end of the day, he had buy side liquidity here as well that got swept, and then it came up, trickled this one here as well. So just let that play. But yeah, I do think we'll buy up at least at some point just to create higher highs and higher lows and sweep those as well throughout the day. So hopefully that goes as planned, but this was a solid move. So, and then what I'll do is pretty much, tap in with you guys come New York. So once we get to New York Open, I'll come back on and we'll move forward with that. So yeah. All right, coming back in here looking. Yeah, we're about to smack 2B2 for sure. This was a W trade. Oh my God, I hate that I'm not in. But it is what it is. On to the next macro for sure. So, TP2, if it does anything like it did yesterday, I believe how much this is over 50 handles. So right now it's floating at 50. So this is probably about 55-ish, almost 60. But is what it is. On to the next trade, like I said. But same result that we're expecting here. So pretty much, yeah. All right, so update, we did tap TP2. I would then be like, hey, move your stop to probably T1, which we just crossed over that T1. So you've been stopped out in profit of some sort if you didn't already take partials. So typically how I approach it, I'm closing half and then I'm closing in sense another half, and then that last is going to be the runner. Say if I choose to close at the end of the trade, so at the the three risk to reward, 3% risk reward. Or sometimes I'll just let it, if it's market's moving good, then I'll let it run. But yeah, something of this nature. So probably at least how yesterday went, same exact, thought process and everything. We broke, we came up, retest, whatever, and just kept trailing down. I have my trailing stop too far up, kind of in between this fair value gap, which obviously I don't know what it is with me. I don't know if I just, am good at identifying it or not, but every single time we get an impulse, a heavy impulse or like a rally, um, whatever it's called. My terminology is not all the way there necessarily with this, but every single time we get like a fair value gap of some sort, my TP is always going to, or my trailing stop's always going to get placed at the high of that middle candle. So honestly, it probably would have, oh wow, it wouldn't have, it'd have barely missed it by a hair. Um, nah, I'll take that back. I might have stopped it. No, I wouldn't have stopped it, but that's typically where I put my trailing, if not at T1, which again, it came real close there for that. So it'll probably come up with this out and then continue down. If you're a break even trade, then so be it. But yeah, so just wanted to come back on and let y'all know what that looks like from there. But yeah, we'll go from there and see what it presents going into the next or the second macro. So yeah, stay put and I'll chime back in afterwards. All right, so we are at New York Open, and yeah, that's nuts. This is nuts. So New York Open, and we're, I guess, playing highs and lows, whatever market pumps into it. But we did successfully, I guess, invert or stick to, we didn't invert. It was a failed or like a fake out of the inversion there to continue to the downside. What I think will happen will probably come up, bounce, retest this, and then trail back down. If it doesn't, just go ahead and flush through to the first TP or to that third TP for the 1 to 3. But yeah, it looks like it's going to pump through and what this candle does right here. But boom, heavy break, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Yeah, we're gonna flush. Literally, it's just accumulation, manipulation, distribution. But how it's taught, at least in the academy, and we have as a whole unit, we have a few things coming that are pretty major. Obviously, we'll talk about it in due time. But literally, this trade right here, accumulation, it'll possibly be some form of manipulation, and we're going to distribute to the highs. And I need to get rid of that of some sort like that. Slide that over, freshen this out, accumulation, manipulation. Let's stretch this. Distribution just happened. So we'd end up possibly, again, like I said, I did not enter this trade live. I missed out on it just because it's not within my macro time frame that I personally like. I like the second and third again. But literally, it's same principle we talked about. We pretty much came up, swept buy side on ES, not NAS. NAS still, that's what I'm anticipating. It's just to wait for it to, come up, take out higher buy side liquidity, if it chooses to do so. But pretty much grab the liquidity, SMT on the ES, break a structure, change, retest, take it off of the 62 or that 50 at a premium, and trade down to the fourth deviation there. But we'd have snatched 2 TPs. Likelihood of us getting stopped out here would have been high, just with everything that happens, unless you just so happen to hold till break even, and choose to pretty much play back down to this zone. I don't think it'll play back down necessarily, at least not right now. And possibly, it might even have a chance of it stopping us out up here, if it chooses to do so. But obviously, I'm not stressing the fact of that, just with me not being in it right now. But literally an accumulation, manipulation, and some form of distribution as displayed right here. So we're in that distribution phase, I believe. So we'll just see what happens in place from there. And we'll tap in once the move is either back at break even or stopped, or through TP. And we'll just, do a further analysis and go from there. But yeah. All right, so looking at this here, we did hit TP. Those with break even would have been great. Or if you just, that type of person that only goes from stops to break even, which is perfectly fine. You're already closing partials and things of that nature. We hit final TP, roughly 2, 3 minutes ago. Yeah, 2 minutes ago. So this trade would have been 30 minutes roughly ish. Let me just double check. Golly. Yeah, roughly 30 minutes of trading. That first macro you'd have been done. So again, this is literally accumulation. Well, I kind of got this backwards now, so we'll just drag this down. I just don't want to redraw it. I'm being lazy here. But we got accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Unless obviously we're going to distribute higher, but end of the day, that's just what the market does. Accumulate, manipulate, and distribute one way. Which, well, that looks to be happening. So again, this is just a trade recap of, me at least live today, what would have been if I chose to actually enter this and in a sense break my rule, which I'm not gonna do there. But yeah, this is just a thought and what I look at on a day-to-day basis with trades. And yeah, so on the next video, um, it'll possibly be another, live scenario, things of that nature, or back testing, things of that nature. It just depends on how I go about with that. But yeah, stay tuned for more insight, at least with my strategy, and more things to come. So yeah.